Okay, it all worked out. Welcome to a special agenda. We do that seamlessly for the first time in a long time. Thank you all for joining me in the room with the special agenda. Those who were able to take time out of their schedule, work, personal recreation, and relaxation, time with their family and loved ones. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. This is something that we'll be discussing tonight that most of us will have the privilege of encountering without realizing that we're going to. What we see in the mirror every day, we see that, but we don't see anything beyond that. We see what we look like, we brush our teeth, some of us shave, if you're men, and what have you. Um, we groom ourselves, but we're grooming ourselves for now, for the day, for today, for what we plan to do today, where we plan to go, who we expect to meet and interact with, so that we make a good impression. But rarely is it our concern for further down the road. Most times we mentally make plans, we may make notes to prepare our day for what we have to do. Or maybe even a few days down the road, we're preparing for work, school, meetings, different things that we have to do for our day to day survival. But rarely have we groomed ourselves to prepare today, because we all know that tomorrow is not promised, but that's so far in the back of our mind. We don't let it settle in our mind well, what that looks like for our loved ones, because those are the ones who have to deal with everything when we're gone. Many of us, our mates, know some of what's going on, but not everything, or not how to handle everything. One may carry the weight of the household. Generally, the one who has the most income, and then there are those who they have the understanding of how things operate. Is this person makes majority of the money, but the other one manages everything else, so that that other person can be focused on making sure that the household has enough funding to move well, to thrive. Someone may handle the kids and the other things that need to be addressed. But rarely do we make plans to make sure that they'll be okay and capable if we have to, if something happens to us, and say we are unfortunate enough to die suddenly or develop an illness where we are not capable of maintaining the household anymore, or even caring for ourselves. For some people, they have plans. And for those people, congratulations, you have mastered adulthood. And those of us that haven't may have mastered parts of adulthood, but we have not stepped in the reality of facing the fact that we may be our parents' caretakers as well. Not only our own, not only our young ones, preparing to parent your parents, which will be the hardest job you will ever face, provided you are privileged enough for them to live a long life. And the things that happen sometimes as they become aged, and you become aged, has to be addressed. Where they need more assistance, where their mobility becomes difficult for them, So they need assistance in the manner of making sure their day-to-day needs are met, where you may even have to confront the possibility of putting them in a good facility and how even to manage that situation and what that will look like, putting them somewhere where you know that they're cared for properly, they're not abused, their needs are met. And for some of us, the reason that it's so hard is because we equate putting our loved ones in the care of someone else with neglect, or like you don't love them. When truthfully, true love for them is making sure you put them with someone who can do it in a way in which they can do it efficiently and effectively in a way that we may not be able to. True love is making sure that they get what they need, even if you're not what they need. You may have health problems of your own. You may have responsibilities for your special needs, children that you're caring for, which means that your attention is divided in such a way that will be overwhelming to you, and things will start to fall through the cracks. Or the loved ones, the young ones that you're caring for, may be too much for their grandparents to, to deal with because of the mental health issues that they may have. It may overwhelm them. It may overwhelm the both of them. And yet you may want to do that, but it is not in the best interest of the individuals that you are looking after. Sometimes you can't be all things to all people. Only our Heavenly Father and His Son is capable of that. And we are not that. So we have to give ourselves permissions to make better plans, to make arrangements, if you will. Even in the event you need a backup for your backup. Most families now have 2 cars so that if one breaks down, they can hop in the other one and crank up because they can't miss that job. They can't miss that meeting. They can't miss that appointment. It is crucial that they have a backup plan. We need a backup plan. And that's not easy, to be honest with yourself and say, all right, who's my go-to if they don't show up? Every good business has one, because an employee, a key employee, walks away from the company, quits or is fired, dies, that company can't fail because of that. So we have to make sure that we understand that. And it's hard to do that when you live in your mind where none of those things are going to happen, that we all have time, that we're constantly making plans, but the plans we're not making are today plans. Today plans means if I walk out my door and I can't come back, who is my back? Who's got my 6? It's important to plan, one, insurance. If you happen to expire unexpectedly or develop long-term illness, and it's evident that this is coming, if you've done this way ahead of time, this can be addressed. There are even insurance policies for people who find out that they are going to expire. There are policies for that. And also making provisions for, because sometimes we do not outlive our parents. We don't. So parenting them is going to be a situation, or preparing to make sure that they have care in the event that we do have something happen to us. Lately, I've been going through this book, on long-term care and how to plan and pay for it. This right here covers so much stuff, and it covers helping older people, if you can see that, with fraud, protecting them from that. Because there's a lot of things that happen to them. We recently had an incident with something that happened at a bank. And you have to be mindful because they are looking to take advantage of older people. Anytime they see an opportunity, they're looking. So you have to be careful about that while you can. But setting up long-term care for them, how to plan for it, how to pay for it, and it discusses so many things. This book by Nolo, it gives a different laws and things that are. It's written by the attorney Joseph L. Matthews. He is also the author of Social Security, Medicare, and Government Pensions. I'm sorry, I don't have my glasses on. And here's why. If you haven't noticed, it's missing a friendly assistant of the home. Don't worry about that. Maybe it's something happened. Anyway, but it talks about, this has a resource directory. This I highly recommend to prepare for this, because for those of us who are privileged, it's coming. And to prepare this, share it. Buy this book on Amazon. If you can't, you can look it up. Most libraries have a copy, and if you don't have it at your library, you can look up the connecting libraries, and occasionally they can have that book transferred shipped from one library to the next, to the library that you're at, and you'll have access to it. And this book here is everything. It gave so much useful information. Even talked about how to get started with this, how to create a plan for them, even creating a trust for the loved ones in your family. That's another thing that we need to discuss. Having a trust for your children. You can convert your insurance policy into that. You can even borrow against. Sometimes older people have multiple insurance policies. You can convert some of their policies into money funds for long-term care,